Chinese armies once crossed these frozen Pamirs.
Sir Aurel Stein, responding to an invitation from the editor of the Himalayan journal, offered a survey of ancient mountain routes beyond the Hindukush, particularly those skirting or crossing the Pamirs, the northern buttress of the Hindukush range. Although seemingly a natural barrier between the civilizations of China and Western Asia, historical records from both east and west show that important east-west routes once passed through this remote region, linking the Tarim and Oxus basins. These basins served as natural corridors for trade, travel, and political missions, with the Tarim protected from nomadic incursions by surrounding mountain ranges, and the Oxus basin providing rich trading centers such as Bukhara, Samarkand, and ancient Balkh. The Chinese Empire under Emperor Wu Ti in the 2nd century BC secured the Tarim to facilitate silk trade with the West, silk being a Chinese monopoly for centuries. Two main routes connected the regions, a northern one noted by Ptolemy from a Macedonian trader's account, running from Bactria along the Alai Valley to Kashgar, and a southern one through Wakhan near the Hindukush. Wakhan's valley of the Ab-i-Panja provided a nearly continuous route to the Tarim watershed, with shelter, grazing, and cultivation up to Langar. Xuanzang, the Chinese Buddhist pilgrim, passed through in AD 642, describing its long, narrow territory, cold winds, hardy ponies, and greenish-blue-eyed inhabitants. In AD 519, Sung Yun and Hui Sheng also traveled it. Marco Polo, in 1272-73, journeyed 12 days from Badakhshan to Wakhan, noting its small size, distinct language, and allegiance to Badakhshan. From Wakhan, the route could lead to the Wakhan Pass and down the Tagdumbash Pamir to Sarakol. Stein traveled this in 1906 and later, noting Sarhad's strategic position near the Barogil Pass, the lowest Hindukush crossing to Chitral and Yasin. In AD 747, Chinese General Kao Shenchi crossed the Pamirs with 10,000 troops to drive out Tibetans allied with Arabs in Turkestan, defeating them near Sarhad before leading part of his force over the Darkot Pass into Yasin and Gilgit. Above Langar, the Oxus Valley led to Bozai Gumbaz and Lake Chakmaktan, source of the Oxus, and to the Wakhan Pass at 16,200 feet. This could be crossed with laden ponies most of the year. Beyond, the Takdumbash Pamir descended to Sarakol in 5 marches, passing cultivation at Koshun Kor and ruins like Kiz-Kurgan, linked to a legend recorded by Xuanzang. Dafdar village and Tashkurgan, ancient capital of Sarakol, lay further down, with remnants of canals and reduced population due to Hunza raids until the late 19th century. Another route from Langar-Kisht crossed the Great Pamir to Lake Victoria, discovered by Captain John Wood in 1838, described accurately by Marco Polo with its wild sheep, wolves, and high-altitude pastures. Xuanzang called it Pomilo, with a dragon lake, attributing to it legendary river sources. From here, routes led to the Aksu River and Nizatash Pass, or perhaps, as Marco Polo did, 40 days east-northeast through wilderness toward Kashgar. The Alachur Pamir, past Yeshil Kol to the Gund River in Shugnan, offered another line, used by Kao Shenchi and later pilgrims. In 1759, Kashgar Khojas, fleeing the Chinese, were overtaken and defeated here. A similar Afghan loss to Russians occurred in 1892. The Murgab Valley to the north, however, was too gorge-bound for transport. From Sarakol to the Tarim Basin, one could attempt the gorges below Tashkurgan in winter, but the main caravan route crossed the Chichiklik Plateau, notorious for wind, snow, and lack of vegetation. Xuanzang and nearly 1,000 years later, Benedict Goes described its dangers. Stein located the hospice ruins Xuanzang mentioned. The descent through the Tangitar Gorge led toward Yangihisar and Yarkand, the scene of Xuanzang's encounter with robbers and Goyes's companions near drowning. Another route skirted Muztagh-Ata and Kungur through the Gez Gorges to Kashgar, possibly taken by Marco Polo after the Great Pamir. The earliest recorded route, however, was the northern Silk Road noted by Ptolemy from Myus the Macedonian's agents, passing from Balkh through Karatagin and the Alai Valley to Kashgar. Stein traced it in 1915, finding the Alai ideal for traffic with its grazing, cultivation, and mild conditions compared to the Pamirs. Irkesh Tam at the eastern end served as a trader's station from which the route descended to Kashgar. Though no longer in use for Oxus-Kashgar trade, its history marked it as a crucial artery linking China and Western Asia.